and welcome to week 10 of my Beachcombing Blanket crochet along. I'm Eleonora, the designer behind Coastal Crochet, and all the details about this blanket can be found over on my blog. The links are in the description below. So in week 10 we're going to be doing the final rows for the top and bottom panels of our blanket, and it's these rows here, row 17 all the way through to row 27. And these rows are inspired by sand and driftwood and sea glass and shells, so lots of beachcombing inspiration. Remember to have the written pattern next to you as we go through the tutorials, and also remember that I use UK crochet terminology, although I do try to translate to US as we go along. So this is the second tutorial to accompany week 10, and it covers row 21. So at the end of row 20 you should have joined with yarn G at the end of the final stitch and turned the work ready for this row, row 21. So looking at the pattern, it tells us to make one chain, and this doesn't count as a stitch. So the first stitch that we're going to crochet into is the first one of the row, because this little one chain doesn't count as a stitch. And so looking at the pattern, it tells us to do one double crochet or US single crochet in the first stitch, so there's the first stitch, and in each of the next 15 stitches. So just one double crochet, US single crochet now in each of the next 15 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 14 and 15. So I've got a little run there of double crochet, US single crochet stitches. And now looking at the pattern, it tells us to do raised triple treble front 2 stitches together around the central 2 double treble stitches below from row 17. So row 17 were these tall double treble stitches that we did here, and it's the central 2 that we're going to be going around and crocheting 2 raised stitches together. So I'll show you what that means. So the central 2, if you look at these tall stitches, there were 8 of these that we did. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are the stitches, these 8 stitches here. So the central 2 of these 8 are the middle ones. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4 along that way, 1, 2, 3, 4 along that way. It's those 2 stitches which are the central 2 double treble or treble stitches from row 17, and it's these 2 that we're going to be crocheting around now. So looking at the pattern, it tells us to miss the next stitch, so that's this stitch here. We're not going to be crocheting into this one, and we're going to do raised triple treble front 2 together. Now a triple treble is a double treble in the US, and it's where you wrap your yarn around the hook 3 times, and it's a raised stitch. So in the US these are your front post stitches. So a raised triple treble front in the US is a front post double treble. So all that means is that we're going to be inserting our hook from right to left, from the front to the back, round to the front again. So insert your hook around that stitch and go to complete the triple treble or US double treble as normal. So yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and stop there. We're stopping at the last stage of the stitch because we're going to be doing 2 of these stitches together. So now wrap your yarn around the hook 3 times, go to the next double treble or treble stitch from row 17 below, insert your hook around the post of that stitch from front to back, round to the front again, yarn over, pull the yarn through, and now it's yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops until you have 3 loops on the hook. And now it's yarn over and pull through all those 3 loops on the hook. And what we've done here is we've made these 2 stitches into one. So we've done 2 raised triple treble front, or in the US front post double treble stitches. We've done 2 of them, but we've done them together to make 1 stitch. And so now looking at the pattern, it tells us to do 1 double crochet, that's a US single crochet, around each of the next 16 stitches. Remember that we were missing the one behind this one. So if you look behind the work, there's the stitch we're missing. So go into the next one along, and it's 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 16 stitches. That's 2, 3, 4. I'll just stop there so you can see what the work looks like, and this is what it should be looking like, with these raised stitches reaching all the way down to those tall double treble US treble stitches from row 17. Gives a lovely textured effect to resemble those pieces of driftwood. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, so carry on for 16 stitches. 5, 15 and 16. So there you can see we've gone across the top of that row, across that bobble, and now we're ready to do our next raised stitches, because if you look at the pattern, everything was in brackets, so everything in the brackets we're doing 10 times. So go back to the start of the brackets, and that's where it tells us to miss the next stitch, so we're not crocheting into that stitch there, but we're going to work a raised triple treble front, or in the US a front post double treble, 2 together around the 2 central stitches below from round 17, these double treble stitches. So again, let's locate these double treble stitches, US trebles. Here they are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We did 8 of those in row 17, and so the central ones are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these two here are the central ones that we're going to be crocheting around. So now wrap your yarn around the hook 3 times. That's the triple treble that we're doing, US double treble, and insert your hook around the first of those 2 stitches from front to back, round to the front again, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop there. Now wrap your yarn around the hook 3 times and go around the next double treble or treble stitch below from row 17, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop there when there are 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and we've made these 2 stitches into one. And then there's the stitch that we were missing. So if you look behind, we're missing this stitch, and then it's 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 16 stitches. 2, 3, 14, 15 and 16. And so now we're at the end of the brackets, and so if we have a look, we've done everything in the brackets twice, and so we repeat exactly this again 10 times in total, going across the entire row. So now we're at our 2 raised stitches together, then we do 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 16 stitches, and so on all the way to the end of the row. So on my final repeat, just coming up to the end of the run of double crochet, US single crochet stitches. This is 15, and then here we have 16. Remember, this was a row of half treble stitches, half double crochet in the previous row, so less obvious which is the final stitch. There it is, so I've done 16. But remember, and if you look at the pattern, it now tells us to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet into the final stitch. Now it doesn't really look like there is a stitch there, but remember, because the previous row was a row of half treble stitches, that 2 chain that we made at the beginning of the row, that counted as our first stitch. And here is the 2 chain, there's the first, there's the second, so we really have to remember to go into the top of that 2 chain at the end of this row, because that counts as our final stitch. So 1 double crochet, US single crochet into the final stitch, which is actually the top of that 2 chain turning chain. But at this point also we're going to be joining with yarn J at the final stage of this final stitch, ready to move on to the next row. And so there we go, the end of row 21 with these lovely raised stitches going all the way across. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. The next rows are on the third tutorial to accompany week 10. Thanks for watching.